Good morning, everybody. Wow, what an incredible journey it's been to get here today. And if any of you weren't able to see the screen, the time lapse that was just shown on actually the construction of this site, we'll be able to repeat it afterwards, and I'm sure we'll be able to broadcast it in a place where you can see a copy. I think, first of all, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to so many incredible people that have enabled us to get to where we are today. Thank you to everyone who believed in Gridserve. Thank you for everybody who supported this journey. Thank you to our investors who backed us. Thank you to our partners, our customers who turned up and made the projects viable, who've kind of demonstrated that the vision that we had to make electric vehicle charging better than using petrol stations, was one that was really viable and possible and sustainable for the future. Thank you for our amazing construction partners. Thank you for to Gatwick, for believing in this project and picking Gridserve as a partner to deliver this incredible project. Thank you to our amazing team. So many incredible people. I'm literally blown away. I come to projects like this, and people say, "Well done, Toddington," and I go, "Well, I might have started this journey, but really, it is an incredible team effort, and I'm absolutely blown away and so impressed by the incredible work that the team has done and continues to do to raise the bar, and so much." Progress and world firsts have been demonstrated in this project above and beyond. Incredible partnership that's growing from strength to strength with Costa, demonstrating the first electric forecourt at any international airport. Big kudos. Wow, that. I'm not going to say too much about that because there's going to be some talks from a number of colleagues in a minute. But Simply Fresh and the first Forecourt project to use Amazon's Just Walk Out technology. It is absolutely incredible. If people want to say, what is the future going to look like, I think the answer is go and have a look at Here Today already. And this is such an exciting initiative because it really does move the needle. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about what that means and why that's important. And I'm going to look forward to doing so. But just again, I just wanted to say a huge thank you. If there's anybody I've missed out, it's not intentional. So just assume that I have thanked you. If I haven't directly said it, that includes the bloggers, the influencers, the press, the media, everyone who's backed us and continues to believe in us. We need to make addressing the climate crisis a reality. It is down to us. And thank you for everyone to kind of back this journey. So we have a few people who are going to now talk more about the electric forecourt, about what it is that we're doing here, about the retail experience from Paul, about the EV experience. So sites like this are great, but they only work when lots more people than we have today transition to electric vehicles. So how above and beyond, building projects like this are designed to serve existing electric vehicle drivers, how they can actually be part of the growth and the acceleration and a catalyst to increasing EV adoption in the area, specifically within the timeframes required. We were really honoured also to have John Jenkins, JJ here from Vice President of Amazon Just Walk Out, who's flown from the US who leads this initiative for Amazon to really talk about quite how special that is. It really is. I would really suggest to everybody, but what you definitely don't want to do before you leave is go, well, I didn't try that out. So I would highly recommend that everybody goes and experiences that incredible experience and really experiences a taste of what the future today can be like. And I'm really excited to hear what JJ's got to say about that. Also delighted that Bronwen is here from London Gatwick Airport. Again, huge thanks for believing us. I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on how projects like this can contribute to the overall sustainability goals and objectives of the airport, and how we can work closer together in the spirit of partnership to kind of advance our collective future. I'm then going to come back, I'm going to grab the mic back, I'm going to talk a bit about climate change, it would be remiss of me not to. It's incredibly important. You know, this is a means to an end, and it's really important that we retain our sights on the goal. There's then going to be a brief ribbon cutting ceremony downstairs. Don't feel you have to join it. It'll be a bit of a stampede to do so, and it's a bit warmer up here. We will be offering sandwiches as well. There's additional teas and coffees too. And then it's a networking session. We'll be, lots and lots of Gridserve people around. Please do take the opportunity to talk to me or any of us. If there's any questions we haven't answered, please, come and speak to us. We're super excited. We're also keen to see what more we can do together. This is an opportunity for us to get to know each other better. It's an opportunity for us to make more progress together. It's an opportunity for us to kind of work out, how we can, take additional steps forward for our collective success and the success of humanity. So really excited to have you here. With that in mind, I'm going to hand you over to Paul for the next piece. Thanks.
Excellent, thank you, Toddington. Good morning, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Paul Brant, and I'm fortunate enough to lead the team that operates the electric forecourts for the Gridserve. So there's a phenomenal army of people that create this and bring it to life, and then it's for me and my team to ensure we deliver the most awesome customer experience on a consistent, ongoing basis. So I just wanted to take a couple of moments to talk to you this morning about what's special about the electric forecourt. Now, obviously, Toddington's already mentioned a couple of things that are new here, which I'll come on to in a little bit more detail shortly. But I just wanted to remind people of some of the amazing things that we do here that are replicated from Braintree and Norwich. And it's really those things that set us apart when we talk about trying to raise the bar in terms of infrastructure and facilities and customer experience. So if we think about the forecourt here, what you won't have seen yet is on the roof, 114 solar panels, which again is replicated from what we have in Norwich and Braintree. Now, I'm reliably informed that those 114 solar panels are capable of generating 42 megawatt hours, which I'm hearing is the equivalent of 250,000 miles. So it starts to put into context how the electric forecourt supports the wider Gridserve mission. We've got battery storage as part of the facility here, and forgive me, I am going to have to check my notes here, because I can talk competently and all day about retail and operations. So I'm told that the battery here is a state-of-the-art liquid-cooled storage system. So for those of you like me in the room that are wondering, okay, what does that actually mean, Paul? Well, I'm hearing that it's the most efficient of its type and increases the efficiency of the storage. But it's also the UK's safest energy storage system in operation. And what it allows us to do is essentially to support the grid of both Gatwick and the local area and balance and support the grid demand. So again, those are some of the key elements of the forecourt that are the same as what we have. Now, many of you, when you arrived this morning, you'll have been greeted by our awesome Gridserve gurus. And the Gridserve gurus are unique. They're there to help you charge. They're there to greet you. They're there to inform and educate you about what else is in the building. They're there to talk to you about the latest EV models. And they're there to then welcome you into the G Lounge. And in the G Lounge, we pride ourselves on having the most amazing facilities, the cleanest, brightest, sparkliest toilets. And then in the G Lounge, you can relax, you can recharge, you can do your emails, you can meet, you can collaborate. Or you can just sit and watch some of the planes come in. If you need more private space, then we've got a meeting room, same as we have at Norwich and Braintree. I think the main difference between what we've done at Gatwick and what we've done previously is that we really wanted to be able to get closer to our customers. So we do an amazing job through the gurus and through our leasing colleagues at connecting with customers on a regular basis. but we weren't able to own the whole end-to-end journey. So that's why we're really proud here to serve Costa Coffee as the first franchise operation together with Costa, because it allows the Gridserve staff to welcome you, and whether you're choosing your favourite coffee, some of the amazing hot food and drinks, the hot milkshakes, they are pretty special. We've got the new range of plant-based food in partnership with Bosch. But what makes it different is that it's Gridserve baristas. So they can talk to you confidently about the charging experience as well as about the handcrafted coffee they've just presented you. And being in partnership with Costa also helps us to really innovate. So working with Costa, we're going to be able to bring click and collect to life. So you'll pull onto the forecourt, you'll connect your charger, and you'll order your coffee, which will be ready for you by the time you get into the lounge. Or one better, you can order your coffee and a Gridserve barista or guru will deliver it to you in your car. And while you're at the Costa counter, I'm sure most of you won't have been able to miss the awesome EV experience that we brought to life at Gatwick. And like I said earlier, I can confidently talk about coffees and retail most of the day, but actually I have somebody much more qualified to introduce us to the improved EV experience.
Thank you, Paul. So good morning, everyone. I'm Alex, and I'm the head of the electric vehicle experience here at Gridserve. And I wanted to use this opportunity to kind of tell you guys more about what that is. We like to think of that as being quite a few different elements. Like Paul has said, they all gravitate around the amazing team of gurus that we have. But it's mainly the four elements of display cars, like we've got the beautiful BMW i5 just over there. And we work with OEM partners to change that, to develop new products that they want to show, and we can bring that here to the forecourt so people can sit, touch, and feel real-world electric vehicles. We then also have interactive content on this amazing piece of technology we have here via the tablets, so people can use those for interactive quizzes, to learn more about electric vehicles, to look at the network of chargers that we have, to learn maybe about leasing, what quotes there are, what kind of lead times there are. And then there's test drives, so you're actually able to go and experience a car for yourself. I think anyone here who drives an EV knows that once you've driven one, it completely changes your views of them, but it also makes you realize that your internal combustion engine feels very old-fashioned. And we're really keen to use that as a tool to help the adoption, as Toddington said. And then that's the last piece, the really important piece, is that expert guidance, that human touch that is often missed in today's world of internet and websites. So having that guru to go and ask questions, go and air your worries, go and air the challenges that you think might be holding you back from going to electric. And what we're really keen to stress here is this is not designed only for electric vehicle drivers. As Toddington said, that won't move the needle on climate change. We need to address the myths, we need to address the challenges, and we need to show people that it works, and it works for them. And that means they can give us their tailored worries, you give us their requirements, and then we can help them understand what EV might work for them, what budget, whatever it is. And we have our incredible team of leasing consultants that can then follow up with a lot more detail and a lot more of the finer bits. What's really important to me and helping grow that team and develop the electric vehicle experience is really listening to customers, listening to what their worries are, and then developing an experience that combats that. So as you can see here with this incredible piece of furniture and technology we have, we're able to develop and adapt according to what's going on in the marketplace. And then again, using our partners in the OEM industry to show that, not just talk about it. And that's really important to us. What's also important to stress is this is designed for a very large group of different customer types. You might have people who are flying out from here and want to get a charge before they park their car, or maybe as they've just landed and they want to get back home, they can have a very quick, comfortable charge with a coffee, rather than going out and getting on ZapMap and finding a charger. It's just right here. But also the local community. Do people live here, work here? Do they want to come and learn about EVs? Maybe they can ask the questions. Or they already have an EV and they just want a much nicer, much more comfortable charging experience while getting some meetings or some emails done. And then finally, we've got, obviously being an airport, we've got a huge amount of taxi and private hire drivers that are very, very keen to find a more comfortable place to charge, especially in this time of year. So we're really keen to help those types of customers as well. And they tend to have a lot of questions, and our gurus are getting really, really good at answering and helping them. So yeah, that's the EV experience. And while you're here, I'd love to stress, go and play with it, go and sit in the car, go and ask gurus questions, ask myself questions if any of you have them. And we'd love to give you a taste of what the EV experience is here at Gridserve. That's it.
Brilliant, thank you, Alex. So I think you're starting to understand where we're trying to move towards. It's really about putting the customer at the heart of everything we do and understanding the different customer missions that they might need to fulfill at the electric forecourts. So if you think about those customer missions, you've arrived, you've been able to successfully charge, you've come up into the wonderful lounge, you've engaged with a guru about some of the latest leasing deals, you've sat down, you've caught up on your emails, and you're just ready to go. But before you leave, don't forget to visit the Just Walk Out store. Because whether you just want a drink and a snack for your ongoing journey, whether you want something for dinner tonight, whether you've forgotten some holiday essentials, or whether you just need a bottle of wine, you can do that all in the store with no queuing, no checkout, and you can just walk out. We're really fortunate to be partnered with Simply Fresh in this space. Simply Fresh bring with them a huge wealth of experience from the convenience sector, which helps us then, I suppose, develop the range according to the customer missions that we think people want to fulfill. But then the beautiful thing about working with Amazon and the Just Walk Out technology is that Simply Fresh and ourselves can then mine the really, really rich data to evolve the range to really match those customer missions and evolve the store to make sure that we can help customers fulfill more missions more often. So I'm hoping I've been able to remind you of some of the key elements of the electric forecourt that make it what it is, but also introduce you to some of the new elements, and we'll hear a little bit more about some of those in a moment. But if you're finished in the lounge and you walk back to your car, safe in the knowledge that your charge session's completed, the gurus will bid you farewell, hoping to see you again soon. I don't think there is an experience like that anywhere in the mobility industry, whether that is EV, whether that is petrol, whether that is diesel. And actually, it's all there to support that ongoing mission to encourage people to adopt sooner. So that's enough from me. Please, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have later on. But what I'd love to do now is introduce a colleague who's flown in specially from the States, because this partnership, I think, is pivotal for their technology, but also really important to us. And I'm hoping they can help me understand that I haven't done anything wrong when I just walk out of the store.
Thanks, Dan. Hi, my name's JJ, John Jenkins from Amazon over in Seattle. And I'm really excited to be here today. It's great to be here with partners like Gridserve and Simply Fresh, who have as strong a commitment to improving the customer experience as I think we hope we do. The other thing I think that's really special about working with Gridserve and Simply Fresh is we all have a very long-term view. When it comes to things like the environment, you don't fix it today or tomorrow. You have to do things with a long-term view. And at Amazon, we've always really taken a long-term view towards problems and solving those problems for our customers. And that's led to a lot of our commitment to the environment as well. So at Amazon, we've committed to being net carbon zero by 2040 as part of our climate pledge, which is 10 years ahead of the Paris Agreement. And it's something we're working very hard towards. In fact, we are committed to being net 100% renewable energy by 2025. So just a few years from now, or I guess 1 year from now, 2024. So, and that's 5 years ahead of our target. We plan to hit that goal. So that's pretty special. Beyond that, by 2022, we had moved to 90% renewable energy across all of Amazon's operations. So everything from the retail business to AWS, 90% renewable. And so that means that this store, powered by the AWS cloud, is powered by 90% renewable energy. Beyond that, the delivery trucks that are driving around the roads here in the UK and around the world, we have 9,000 electric delivery vehicles that delivered more than 145 million packages in 2022. 1,000 of those EV delivery vehicles are here in the UK. So really a lot of hasty progress towards these climate goals. But beyond that, we want to help our customers become more sustainable as well. So the AWS cloud that we operate, we're really trying to enable our customers to take advantage of sort of the improvements we've made there to improve sustainability. So by 2030, we expect to be water positive. What that means is in data centers, water is used for cooling. And we are going to be a net producer of water instead of a consumer of it by 2030. And so we've gone to great lengths. We build our own computer chips. We've come up with novel ways to deliver power within data centers. Really, we're leaving no stone unturned in terms of how we try to deliver, a more sustainable future to our customers. But beyond just the environment, we tend to think very long-term at Amazon, and we've always done that. So some of you may be familiar, in the early days of Amazon, Jeff Bezos drew this sort of famous picture on a back of a cocktail napkin that's become known as the virtuous circle or virtuous cycle, depending on who you ask. And it sort of showed how you could focus on long-term problems to deliver value to customers. So two of the elements on that cocktail napkin drawing are that we should lower prices and provide more selection. And Jeff's theory was that if you just focus on those two problems over the long term, you would deliver consistent value to customers that would make them happy. And you wouldn't be subject to the business fads of the day or whatever the latest technology is. You just keep focused on that sort of long-term objective and you'll be okay. And that sort of powered a lot of the early days of Amazon. So in the 2010s, we were asking ourselves, well, what could we do to improve shopping in sort of physical stores? That might be a big idea, something that we could do over the long term. And so we said, what's wrong with shopping in a store? And the answer we came up with was checkout lines. People don't like checkout lines. It turns out they didn't like checkout lines in 1924. They don't like checkout lines in 2024. They're not going to like checkout lines in 2124. Right? They don't like checkout lines in the US, they don't like them in the UK, and they don't like them in Australia. And so the problem of lines in a store is really this problem that transcends time, it transcends space. And so if you focus on solving a big problem like that, you're going to deliver long-term value to customers. Well, it's been about 10 years since we started thinking about that problem, and sort of the result of it is what you see here. This Little Fresh Good to Go store is sort of the latest evolution of what we've come up with to eliminate checkout lines. When you walk to this store, you can simply tap a credit card or your mobile wallet on the entry gate, walk into the store, shop as you normally would, and then at the end, you just don't have to check out, which the first time could be either magical or a little disconcerting if you've never done it before, hopefully magical. It certainly becomes magical the more you do it. And so this store, as a shopper, should feel to you like any other store. We haven't restricted what you can buy. We're not forcing it to be displayed on different types of shelves or different types of fixtures within the store. It should be a very natural shopping experience that doesn't require any training on the behalf of the customer. And so some things we think are really special about this, the selection in this store. You can get kind of all the things you would need at any sort of normal forecourt store. Car supplies, food and beverages, even age-restricted items like alcohol and tobacco, all without having to wait in the checkout line. Really, it's the way I like to describe it is sort of the world's most fancy cash register you've ever seen, except there's no cash register there. So definitely, I would invite you to check it out. Of course, behind the scenes, there's kind of a lot of magic going on that we hope is sort of hidden from you to make the experience simple. But we have tremendous engineers at Amazon that have spent, hundreds of person years implementing technologies. We use artificial intelligence that processes the video from the cameras to figure out what's been taken off or put back on the shelves to make sure that when you leave the store, we charge your credit card correctly. There are sensors in some of the shelves, and we use something called sensor fusion to blend the data coming from those shelves with the signals from the cameras to make sure that we get very accurate sort of quantity information about what you've taken off the shelves. And in fact, in the early days of Just Walk Out, we used a lot of generative AI techniques to synthetically create videos to train the algorithms that understand what's happening in the store. To sort of expand on that, in order to build artificial intelligence that can understand what you've taken off or put back on the shelves, we have to have videos of people taking things off and putting things back on the shelves. Well, we didn't have any of those back in the early days. And so we used AI to create videos of people taking things off and putting on shelves in different lighting conditions, in different sort of shelf configurations, et cetera. And we fed that back into another AI system to actually understand it in real life. So we sort of used AI to train AI, which sounds a little weird, but it's nonetheless how this stuff works. And so really what you see here is the culmination of a lot of really sort of profound and cutting edge technology to enable a new experience kind of unlike any other. At Amazon, we have this saying, it's still day one. And what that sort of means is that there's a lot of discovery yet to be done. And I think there's absolutely true in the case of Just Walk Out. There's a lot of cool innovation still to be done and that will still be coming in the Just Walk Out space, as well as, I think, a lot of innovation in the sustainability and sort of environmental improvement space as well that we'll continue to push on. And for us, it's great to have partners like Gridserve and Simply Fresh who are willing to sort of lean in with us for the long term to make sure that we can kind of all get there together and create this sort of future that I think we all hope will exist. So thanks.
John, thank you very much indeed for that. Yeah, I've learned a huge amount listening to that, and contrary to my belief, it isn't just black magic that powers the store. And again, I think the other interesting thing there, John, is kind of, when we look at the electric forecourt and what makes it unique, Just Walk Out technology feels like it just belongs on an electric forecourt. But more importantly, the electric forecourt is here to support our ongoing mission to move the needle on climate change. So it's really interesting when you hear from partners around some of the things that they're doing to try and support that mission, because actually it's through collaboration that we will get there quicker than we would if we're all trying to work by ourselves. So in that vein, actually, I'm really pleased to present somebody else to talk about kind of the electric forecourt and what it means to them and how it supports their ongoing mission in that whole spirit of collaboration. So I'd like to introduce Bronwen from Gatwick Airport. Please.
We are absolutely passionate. I know Toddington's going to talk a little bit about the climate emergency, and we share his passion for how do we really move that needle. Gatwick set out a decade of change, set of ambitions, 10 targets, 10 goals across a wide range of things, and one of those was net zero. And last year we brought forward our ambition to be net zero for the airport to 2030. So we want to outperform by a decade on what we'd originally set out. Now I could talk about boilers and lighting and all sorts of things that we need to decarbonise at the airport. But one of the goals we set out there was that 60% of passengers and staff journeys to the airport by 2030 would be by sustainable means. Now that encompasses, again, a wide range of things. We've just completed a massive investment and about 10 years of work on my part and some of the others in the room at Gatwick to redevelop our station, because we recognise that rail plays a huge role in driving that change in how people reach our airport. We already have certainly UK leading levels of rail transport 40%, more than 40% of our passengers come by rail, but we want that to be higher by 2030. We're aiming for 50%. We're investing in rail services. We're subsidising additional rail services from Reading because that's an area that wasn't well served, and we want to continue to do that sort of thing. We're working with Metrobus, our local bus service, who are investing in hydrogen buses to again bring local people here. But there are always going to be people who, particularly early hours of the morning, late hours of the evening, or from different parts of the area, that simply cannot manage that journey by public transport. So how do we support them in making their car journey more sustainable? And here's where Gridserve absolutely nests beautifully into the ecosystem for us. This is about passengers, this is about staff, this is about local businesses who are coming to the airport, this is about our local residents, this is about commuters who come to the airport to get a train to go on their onward journey. There's a whole raft of people who travel here by car. How do we give them the confidence that they can bring their electric vehicle to the airport and know that they're going to be able to do a rapid charge and get on their way as quickly as possible? We've strategically sited it so that it's on the strategic road network. It's not interfering with the local roads. It's not interfering with the airport traffic. You can get here very, very quickly and easily off the M23, off the main A23, between North and South Terminal. You can pop in. You have a completely different experience from a forecourt, but share that convenience and that ability to, that confidence that, and now I'm going to be able to get a charge. At a business level, it means that businesses operating at the airport who have their own ambitions for electrifying their fleets of vehicles, and Gatwick alone have got 300 that we've got to get to by 2030. It means we can de-link a little bit from where are we going to get our infrastructure to charge. We can invest in those vehicles knowing that there is at least a backup plan, if not the plan, for how we're going to charge those vehicles. And that gives everyone confidence. Again, it's the same debate we have personally, we're all having as businesses of, are we ready? How can we do that? How do we do that with confidence that it's not going to affect our operations or our customer service? And this is a really, really profound change and game changer for many of the businesses that operate at Gatwick. We have 20,000 staff who travel here. And I think the opportunity to be able to come and talk to the gurus and understand a little bit, perhaps in their lunch hour or just on their way home from work, in a very manufacturer agnostic fashion, actually really, really interesting for people. And I think the buzz that has been created at the airport as we've seen the building, I mean, it's impressive when you see it on the time lapse, and it was it looked a lot quicker. But as each of those stages have been raised, there's always a new buzz of, ooh, it's coming to life, and it looks just like the picture and just as cutting edge as we were all hoping for. You've got another fan. Our chief financial officer took delivery of his EV last week, and he was here on Friday when it came back going, oh, it's amazing. So one by one, you're winning the Gatwick converts. And we're genuinely thrilled to have you as part of our airport community. I think it's a game changer for all of us, and we're delighted that you're here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and again, thank you for everybody who's come here today and have been a part of making this a success. And this kind of mantra of "build it and they will come." It's really awesome to see that happening. And again, great to hear that projects like this are instilling confidence, that are giving businesses the confidence to invest, which again gives our investors and our communities confidence to invest further. It's perpetual, and we all need to get on with it. And the reason that we need to get on with it is because, and we can't sugarcoat this, but we are facing a crisis, a climate crisis. The shocking thing about this climate crisis is the timeframes we have available to address it are incredibly tight. So tight, in fact, that they've been left to us collectively, people able, willing and able and alive today in the next few years to be able to move the needle. And that's Gridserve's central purpose. Just go back to that slide. So to deliver sustainable energy and move the needle on climate change. What does that actually mean? It means, from our perspective, that we are told by the world's leading scientists of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, so the top scientists at the top table of the United Nations, that there is a very, very small window of time available to reduce global emissions to a point that we will avoid temperature rises exceeding 1.5 degrees of warming. We're already on about 1.2 degrees of warming now. We used to say months ago 1.1, it's now closer to 1.2. And 1.2 feels pretty dangerous. And we have, but what we are told is that 1.5 is going to be a lot more dangerous. And I'm going to come to that in a second. And there is a very, very, very short window of opportunity to seize the nettle, to make, to transform the status quo. And we can do it. Projects like this are possible, as evidenced by the fact that we're all standing here. But it's only possible if we do it together. It's only possible through partnership. It's only possible through collective success. It's only possible through collaboration. And it's only possible to, working with the most amazing minds and people, like what you described, JJ, about using AI to train AI, just absolutely blew my mind. And for everybody, using the Little Fresh store, how that kind of all comes together, and all of the different pieces of the supply chain, contribute to an overall result that we are delivering an experience that's better than petrol and diesel. And that's what we need to do. And that will give people the confidence and the desire to make the transition in the earliest possible time frame. So again, thank you for everybody that helps us achieve that. We can only do it together. And particularly thank you to London Gatwick Electric Forecourt, and not just for what we've done so far, but actually for the opportunity to really kind of grow this journey together. So if we go to the next slide. Okay, this can't be sugarcoated. 2023, despite all the incredible efforts of so many people, 2023 is now officially the world's warmest ever year on record. The oceans experienced record high temperatures, which led to historic heat waves. We had Antarctic sea ice both at record low summer minimums and low winter maximums. We had heat waves, we had wildfires. Do you remember, Hawaii on fire last year? We've had droughts. It's been horrific. And we were warned that this was going to happen. And we are now being warned that we have a very, very small opportunity to do something about this. And in March last year, Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, said, "This is your final warning, humanity. We need to do everything, everywhere, all at once." And if we do that, then we have an opportunity to move the needle of climate change and keep global emission rises to within 1.5 degrees of warming. And specifically, they gave us some data that we need to orientate to. And it's important that we all absolutely take this one on board, if it isn't clear already. That getting to net zero by 2050, which seems to be kind of the narrative that we read in the newspapers, and what certain organizations are committing to and governments are committing to, doesn't mean we solve the climate crisis. The science, according to the world's leading scientists, say that we need to peak global emissions by 2025 at the latest, and reduce global emissions by 43% within the next 6 years, if we are going to have any chance of keeping 1.5 degrees of warming viable. Bear in mind, we're already at 1.2. So that is what we need to be trying to solve for. Yes, we need to get to net zero by 2050, but we need to do it, we need to be doing the final crumbs at 2050, and the hard work needs to happen now. And what's really encouraging for me is to hear, and I've heard quite a lot of this in the last year, just don't give Amazon, we got there X many years early. Bronwen, Gatwick, we got there early. China is often lambasted in the media, but did anyone realize that they reached their solar targets around 10 years earlier than expected? It's possible, and history will judge us. Let's all be clear about that. We've been given the final warning from the Secretary General of the United Nations, clarity, that we have a final opportunity to reduce global emissions by 43% by 2030, so within 6 years, that will protect the future of our planet, our children, our children's children, forever. That gauntlet has been thrown down to us. Now, don't we want to be the people that when history judges us are the ones who rose to that challenge and fixed it? We know from how quickly the world responded to the COVID crisis that actually huge impacts and huge change can happen very quickly. And isn't it awesome that the solutions now exist? You're standing in the most incredible electric charging station. What is not to love about this? There is no reason not to make the transition. We need to make sure there is no reason not to make the transition. We need to do it as quickly as possible. So I guess my kind of call to action to all of you. So again, I'm extremely grateful for all of the support that's enabled projects like this to happen. But it's really, really important that this is a good, good momentum in the right direction. But the real impact that we need to deliver has got to be what we do this year, what we do next year. If you're considering, if you're on the fence, if you turned up here in a combustion engine vehicle, let's make sure, you need to make sure that next time you turn up in an electric vehicle. We will do everything we can to ensure that the energy that that's using comes from net zero sources, that the environment that you're in is absolutely awesome. We'll do everything we can, but unless you transition, unless you take the action, unless you tell your friends and your family, then how are we going to make this happen? But it is possible. And I'm super excited because, we now don't need to, would anyone have believed a few years ago that projects like this could be delivered? Well, people don't have to take my word for it anymore. We don't have to have conversations with investors who say, but what if nobody turns up to charge? People do turn up to charge. And the more we can all get around collectively supporting this mission, the greater chance we have of being the people that history judges favourably. So you know what? Them, you, me, everyone able today, we are the ones that history is going to judge. And wouldn't it be absolutely freaking awesome is they judge us as the ones who turn this around? Because we have that opportunity, and we need to move the needle. And so just briefly on Gridserve, what are we doing? We are doubling down. I think pretty much every year we double our output. And if we continue to double our output every year, then we really have an opportunity to meet the challenge with the exponential amount of energy that's required, obviously net zero, clean energy, to transform this. And if everybody else in this room, is to embrace that as an objective, every year we're going to double down. We're going to double our objectives and what we achieved last year. Then you know what? We will knock this out of the park. And I have real confidence based on what has been achieved and how many times people, in the past have, questioned whether this progress can be delivered. But we've, time and again knocked goals over and able to demonstrate, not only can we deliver impact, but we can deliver it now in a way that's better than petrol and diesel, more cost effective, and creates, prosperity and economic opportunities, as well as the environmental challenges that we must address. So please, as another takeaway, if everyone can embrace the concept of doubling down, double down, double up. If you can achieve twice the impact next year that you achieved this year, and so on, then we really have a chance. And that's certainly what Gridserve are doing as well. So I guess to wrap up, there's a slide just before I will wrap up, and then we'll play a final video. Thank you again for everybody attending. Thank you again for all of the partners, and thank you for coming out to support us and make projects like this a reality. We look forward to moving the needle together. Thank you, everybody.